Hi, thanks for tuning in. I wanted to do a quick video on on the story of Lord Anu, Enki, Enlil, and then their wives, the Black Madonna, and then the Draconian Queen. And this is a story as it was told to me, you can take it for what it's worth. I definitely recommend going in and checking out all these different stories. There's a lot of lore that Enki is Lucifer, the light bearer, and things like that. So I don't personally think that, but there's a lot of things. So we'll just go into that straight off. Basically, there's Lord Anu, and he came here 300,000 years ago with his two sons, Enki and Enlil. The human race was altered. Slaves were created. They took our tree of life and basically cut us off at the da'at level so that human beings could never ascend past that, which means that when you were to pass on and fight your way out of the matrix, when you have to fight the Omni Queen or the Omni King, or to try to get past the light, then you would fail, hit the light, forget who you are, you lose your consciousness, and then fall back to earth and then incarnate again. And this is like the trap that we were kept in. And how they trap us is not, it itself isn't necessarily a trap. It's just that they can, it would be like if someone put you in a maze and then just put a bunch of mirrors everywhere. I mean, we never get out of the maze. It's not that there's not a way out. It's just that you're never going to find the way out, especially if they put all these colors and flashing lights everywhere. Then you're going to be so distracted. Get out. So basically, they came here. Enki saw, he discovered the tree of life, and he saw that human beings were had more potential, and that these the dynasty or the dark terrestrials, the order, that they basically were keeping mankind suppressed and very materialistic, so that they would not ascend beyond this level, and beyond 3D or even not even to 4D, just completely stay in. Really, the ideal is to keep us in like the two-dimensional, Pac-Man screen where we can never look up. So Enki saw this, and he wanted to give mankind a gift, and he wanted to help them go up their tree of life, because these orders that came and did this, they were worried if mankind ever found out what we were or who we were, that we would actually become more powerful than them and overpower them. And they need this planet. So, and they need us to do their work for them. So, I mean, that's an age-old story. So, basically, Enlil saw this, and he went and told Anu, like, Enki is teaching them how to have unsupervised sex. He's teaching them, the tantric, about the chakras, and, he's basically teaching them who they are. And, well, they said, well, we can't have that. So Enlil got jealous, and he went and enlisted the help of the Draconian Queen, the Dragon Queen. So the Draconians came, these crocodilian reptilians, you can call them, and he bred with them. So then we were all mixed here. There was like children of Enki and Enlil, and then children of Enlil and children of Enki, and it started to get crazy. Atlantis obviously got corrupted. Everything was just kind of going haywire because there was so much corruption. They started fighting and then raping and doing crazy things. And basically, so what happened was, Enlil and Enki were with Anu, and he said, well, we're going to have to start over. They went to the planners of the planet, the elders, and they said, okay, this is what we want to do. We want to, just lock the planet down again, cause this flood, put the rainbow in, and maybe lock this planet down for a period of time until humans evolved to what they're supposed to be. And in the Bible, it says that the Nephilim were there before and after the flood. So you kind of have to question the flood stories. Who is being saved when and how? Like, for instance, I'm just going to pause on the Enki and Enlil story. Like, for instance, let's say it's a boat. Okay, I mean, we know, number one, we know that, that there were a group of entities that were taken up, and then they came back down for the floods. Okay, these are very powerful entities. They saved a group of human beings. Most likely this is Queen Semiramis. So she took, because Samaria was a peaceful place, took her children that were pure of heart and not without sin, but without you could say, I don't want to say, without Enlil's DNA. Now, just a quick, Enlil was more technology, whereas Enki was more spirituality, one with the earth, people's free will. So they wanted to come in and manipulate humanity and use the earth and use humanity, but they had different ways of doing it. Like Enlil wanted to come in and just enslave, where Enki was like, well, maybe we can like make ourselves look attractive to the women, and we can go in and actually, you know, like breed with them, and we can preserve our race in that kind of way. And so they had different ideas of how they wanted to go about invading this planet. So going back to the Enki and Enlil, so we know that one is more, you know, technology, skyscrapers, things like that, digital stuff, and one is more like spirituality, you know, clairvoyance and telekinesis, stuff like that. So you could say Enki, or you can say Poseidon, or he goes by so many different names. He came, broke his agreement with the Council of Immortals, and came and warned his children about the flood that was coming. So he took his children, him and Queen Semiramis, who was most likely also known as the Black Madonna, took them to a safe place while the flood happened, and then brought them back. Warned them, well, he was not supposed to warn them. So when Lord Anu finds out that that Enki has betrayed him, and he has gone and told these children that were his children that he created, because he was the most powerful creator god, being half earth, half human, and half Anunnaki, whereas Enlil was full-blooded Anunnaki, and then he went and bred with the Draconian to even make that extra Y chromosome into the human DNA, make him more vicious, more territorial, more, you know, competitive, all that type of stuff. So he found out that he had betrayed him, and this is where you get your name, Set. Because when Anu found out that Enki had done this, he was so pissed off at him that he didn't want to say his name. That when he would go to say his name, he was so mad that all he would do is just like spit. So it was like spit, spit, spit. Every time he said his name, he couldn't even say his name. It just like, you just can't even say your name. So the name Set, because it was like set, 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 like spit, spit, spit. And then we got the name Satan, which is Shaitan, which everywhere else means wisdom. So you need to look into that, because he's, you know, woke human beings up, or like whatever. The apple is a different story. It's Enlil who snuck into the garden and did all this stuff. Samael, the Enlil who came in to the Garden of Eden and gave Eve this substance. So we're not going to get into what it is. There's so many different things. I mean, I've heard pomegranates, apples, the quince, marijuana, mushrooms, aphrodisiacs, goat head. Let's just stop right now. I should do a whole separate thing on this about like the allegory that you see everywhere that's this Hathor stuff that you don't understand, but you see it. A goat head. Then we see the goat head in Baphomet. We see the goat head in Satan worship. We see the goat head in the occult. We see the goat head in the Catholic Church. The goat head and the ram's head, all these different things, they're like everywhere. What is the goat head? Goat head is a sticker, a thorned sticker, that, and Dr. Jeff King told me this a long, long time ago. He said within that goat head is the most powerful aphrodisiac known to man. In these little stickers that you get if you live in California, you can like sweep these stickers up. The most powerful aphrodisiac known to man inside that little goat head, and what it looks like is if you see the gypsum balls and gypsum weed, they're like that big and they have the spikes. It's like a tiny one, just a single seed of that, and it's called goat head, and they make horny goat's weed out of it for your aphrodisiacs. So there's a lot of things going on with the goat and the occult and the Garden of Eden. So moving on. So he became known as Satan, and what happened is we know him as Set as Satan, and this is not the Egyptian. This is a different story than this Egyptian story. This is something else. This is older than that. And basically, what happened is Anu said, "Fine, you love your creation so much, have them. You are now chained to this planet. You'll never leave this planet, and it is your job to make sure that your children evolve. And if they don't evolve, I will destroy them." And that's basically what it is. So now everybody hates this Lucifer character, this Enki character, and this is the Black Madonna and the Enki together make this character. So basically, he was chained to earth, cast here, unable to leave. You hear Thoth talk about this. and he's coming over and over and over again. And this entity, as Lucifer, has to offer the crossroads over and over and over again to humanity. So that is when you see like the cross, or the snake on the cross is Enki. It was part reptilian. So and another thing to look into is Enki was part reptilian. Did that reptilian blood come from us, or did it come from him? That's another thing to look into. I'm not going to answer it, but just look into it. Where did the reptilian blood come from? Human beings, we've been tampered with a few times on this planet. So you've got, yes, the Treaty of El Anu 300,000 years ago. But before that, you had the Draconians that came, and we were like kind of a Native American species that was here. And they came, they wanted some resources that we had. We were like, well, what do you mean? Who are you? And they were just like mad that we even would question them, because they've been, charting the galaxy for so many millions of years. What's funny about these Draconians is if you read a lot of the history on them, they don't even know where they came from. They have no memory. And it's literally the story of how they got into this dimension, into this universe here, is literally like someone picked them up by the scruff of their neck and then just dumped them in this dimension. And they have lost their memories, lost their abilities to retain their memories and everything. So that's kind of what they're doing to us. It's like it's been done to them, now they're doing it to us. They don't even know where they came from. Like, we have more insight on where they came from than they do, because they have no connection to God. That is hell. Being disconnected from the source is hell. So basically, Anu said, if you like your creation so much, you go down there and you be the one that offers the crossroads to them, so that they have to evolve. So then we hate this character, because this character has to bring us the trials and the tribulations in our life, so that we can learn and evolve. Like, look at the people who've had very easy lives. They've had, Trustafarians, and they've just been given everything. Everything seems to work out. They never have a lot of problems. But how evolved are they? How much do they know? I mean, I grew up, like, in a, I don't say poor, because I've seen poor. I grew up in a, less fortunate family. And, I grew up wearing other kids' hand-me-downs from high school that I grew up cleaning other kids' houses. Like, my parents cleaned all the more well-to-do families in town, like a lot of their houses. They would clean, like, sometimes 6, 7 houses a day. And if it was a vacation, or if I was homesick from school, I was cleaning those houses too. So I grew up wearing their hand-me-downs, cleaning their houses, like doing all that kind of stuff. So it was different, because in high school, you look at those people, right? They look like their parents. They're wearing nice clothes. They look, you can tell that their parents are more successful usually, and they already have cars when they're 16 and stuff like that. But they didn't have a lot of preparation for life. And so like Tony Robbins says, when you can look at these individuals later on in life, and they spent their life in and out of rehab, they begin every opportunity, every bit of finance, and they have every single thing that they need. I mean, people have a list of excuses of why they're not successful. I'm just getting off on a tangent here, but like, I didn't have enough money, I didn't have enough time, I didn't have the resources, I didn't have the technology, I didn't have the help. There's all these different things as to why reasons people have for not being successful, but they're just excuses. Because resourceful people, who are usually incarnate into more poor families so that they can actually develop this skill, will find a way. Right? I mean, I grew up poor, a displaced housewife. I didn't want to go to work every day. I was not seeing my child at all. I went from being a full-time housewife to never seeing my daughter and working out of town. And it was just miserable. And my daughter, it's like a 3-year-old comes to you and says, Mom, we don't spend any time like we used to. A 4-year-old, Mom, we don't spend any time like we used to. And it's just like, oh my gosh, what do we do? So I had to ask God for a different option, a third option, and that's when I became, like I said, my own housewife. And I became a seamstress, and I started my online business, and I did all that kind of stuff. But I'm resourceful. I started with a $50 sewing machine, which broke in a couple weeks. And somebody gave me one that only lasted a month. I had gone to all my family. I had become a 4th-generation seamstress, so collected fabric from all of my family, and I just started sewing in my dining room. That was like 7 or 8 years ago. So resourcefulness is the key. These people who will look successful, like when they're younger, in school, you see them like running for president or doing things like that. And I did all that stuff too, but you have to understand like there's a difference. And the resourcefulness is the key. You have to make a way for yourself. You cannot wait for anybody to help you in this process. That's why people. I appreciate and I like that people ask me questions, and I like answering the questions, and I get excited that people are excited about changing, and changing what's around us, and actually learning how to manipulate the false reality that we're in and